I got our big Fuzion in here, and we're just starting to set up the scaffold. We got to get the handrails on here. That's what we're doing right now. You see, we still don't have quite the protection on that awning right there, but nothing will come off until we get all that done. So we're going to go up there and take a look at it and see what we got. So it is a little damp because we just pulled it in. So we had a couple little areas where it looked like it may leak. So we put them on there the other day, just mopped it on there. That's all we did. But it only sat out there for like a day. But this right here, there's a plate on here on the shoulder, and the staples came loose on it. That's what that is. You can see all this striping going on. That's where all your sheets of decking are. And then we got a rip. It looks like a rip, or no, maybe that's what they, I see what they did. So that tape that's right there goes over here to this antenna. So we'll probably reroute that since we've taken the roof off. And this typically, it's not a vent, it's just really an access to where if you wanted to run wires, like you could have ran the wires from there and fished them to over here and then fished them. That's what that's for. Typically if you pull that off, there's just an opening big enough where you can actually get your hand in there. It may be about 3.5 inches or so where you can actually get your hand in there. So if you're buying a camper, some of the things you want to look for is make sure it's sealed. Along the edge here. This is going to be the gutter rail. So you're going to check all that, make sure it's all sealed. And see, we have a checker tool, and I can't show you around the vents because those are pinned down there. Hopefully no one sealed them in. I'm looking right there, and I'm wondering if someone actually glued them in place. You don't ever want to do that because when water and moisture gets in there, it'll get trapped. So don't ever do that. So that's some of the things we're looking for. It doesn't look like there's any sealant here. It looks more like it's just butyl that's coming up. That's not caulking. Then we're going to be replacing this insert trim as well. We'll get rid of this. This here is a, I've showed it before. Let's see what size, what kind this one is. This may be a thinner one. If I can pop that out there. Kind of hard to do things with one hand. I get one of them fancy GoPros and strap it to my fat head, and then I'll be able to get it. But this is just, it just snaps into that track. You see, you can see how that one works. The ones that we use, it'll snap over this track and it'll snap into the track. It'll do both. See how that snapped in? Well, the one we have will actually come over as well. So I'll get that out later, but I was trying to show you. And then, and I'm going to, obviously when we take the roof off, you'll see the condition of the roof. I just like to try to walk around and get an idea. It looks like they had this replaced right here. So someone had that sealed up enough to keep it watertight to here, that's for sure. But that is not a long-term fix, this. Not a long-term fix. Let's see. Looks like you have some issues over here by that AC. And then someone, you know, might get more Dicor and stuff on here, which I'm not a fan of. And looks like they had a double termination bar here. There's one here and one here. So when they did the work, they just put that down and put another one, and then they put that over there. So that's what it looks like. Now, one of the things we got to do is we're going to go inside. We always get the ACs going. We're going to do that, make sure they work, and then we're also going to make sure if there's any fans or anything like that, that they're all working before we take them apart. So you can see how bad this one is. A lot of this isn't even, like I said, isn't all put together yet, that scaffold. But that's, again, that's what we're working on. So, yeah, might have been an optical illusion on that other side. So that's all they do. So what Dicor wants you to do is just keep slobbering more on. So you got some more staples loose on there. So, it looks like, I don't know, I'm trying to see if it may be an optical illusion or what, but it looks like there may be a slight belly in here. Nope. Yeah, right here. But it looks like it drops down. So we're going to see what's going on with that and why maybe if this is trying to rise up. I like to look at it because it does to me look like it's going, and then it kind of does this. And again, we'll see, because I want all the water obviously to shed off. I don't want it to sit on the roof at all. It does have some camber to it. But that's what they want you to do, is put some more caulking on here. See, like right in here, there's going to be a leak right in there if it isn't already. And then, but these have to be primed. If you don't prime these, you're not going to get anything to really stick to it. It may seem like it is, but then it's just going to break loose. This is stuck to more of itself than it is the lens on here. So then if you ever replace one of these, you want to drill these holes out from the factory. Drill them out a little wider because they expand and contract, and you want them to be able to have some movement on there. This is just a plumbing vent with a breather underneath there, so when you're traveling, you can it'll just vent everything out. And that's what you would do. You'd go around like a checker tool, and you can check all this here to make sure everything is tight. But you're also going to be looking for, again, if you're looking to inspect one, you'll be looking for like that fracture that I see right here. And so this seems to appear to me, I don't know the exact composition of the product, it appears to be more of like a butyl and with an acrylic layer on it. And what happens, the acrylic will dry out, which exposes the butyl, and the acrylic will get fractured by the sun's UV light. And then what happens is you see these craters start to appear right here, and the reason for that is because the UV light's gotten in there and it's starting to break it down. So their fix is put some more on there. So all the years I've been doing commercial work and everything, about like 35, 37 years, I guess, I've never seen a caulking advertised to be used outside that fails in 3 to 4 months. So don't use it. In fact, if it says RV on it, don't even buy it. It's just a scam. Every product I've seen that says RV is just a way to go, hey, yeah, we designed it for RVs. No, it's just another marketing ploy. That's all it is. You know, they're just looking at how they can move the product, and they go, hey, you know what, we can sell it to RV people. Tell them it's RV stuff. Because if it doesn't work, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to give you another tube of this stuff that they sell for $12 a tube, that die cord, $12 a tube, and it probably costs them 30 cents. So they'll be like, hey, we'll mail one out to you, and that's about all you're ever going to get from them. So, you know, and the amount of people that would actually complain to get that is so nil, they make out like bandits. So, well, let us get this thing tore off, and we're going to get inspected and tore off, and we'll find out. But usually what we'll do is go around and just kind of open everything up, see what the roof deck is like without actually even taking all these apart, because then I can just see what the actual deck in itself is so I can get prepared of what I may need. So, and I like to see what's going on over there, and I look down that end. Over there, it looks like, and again, it may be an optic illusion, but it looks like it's kind of doing this from this point to the back. That area looks like it's got a kind of a belly to it. So where this little vent right here is, looks a little humped up. That's what it appears to look to me. But I like to check all that out. Can I fix all that? Is it worth fixing all that? Not sure. I just want to see what's going on. It may be just some sheathing compromise. It may be a truss compromised. I don't know yet. But until I look at it, you know, last thing I want to do is, let's want to put on a quality roof. Our roof, if I don't fix that, and we'll say it's okay, structurally sound and so forth, it won't leak. But if I can straighten it out without tearing someone's wallet apart, that's what I'd like to do. But so we just look at things in that way, and if it's a concern, and if it's something that's going to interfere with the work order pricing, then we get back with the customer and we'll let them know, hey, we noticed this, we've noticed that, it may cost X amount of dollars to fix. If it's something we can fix real easy, so another idea may be, there may be a truss in here. I'll draw back a little bit. There may be a truss in here that's kind of sagged, and we maybe will just put a brace in there real quick. Take a couple of minutes. So if that's the case, we're done. So that's what we'll be checking on. So we're going to have boots over here for all of these, so we'll have all that, and then you won't have just here. So a lot of times the water will trickle down here. Now someone's slobbered some good caulking all around this, but there's a base that goes around here, and a lot of times folks don't, and then the water will trickle down inside around that base through this, and it'll wick up underneath there. So you want to look for that. You know, some of the, even the other ones like the Class C's and the other fifth wheels, those ladders tend to come on over, and you may notice that. So, but anyhow, that's where we are so far with our big old Fuzion. We're going to start taking a look at it, and yeah, that's on. It does look like it's kind of got a little sag right where that AC is. All right, let's see what we got. So we found the sag. A lot of glue on here, but you can see just from stepping there, how it's going back and forth. And what it is there's not enough framing in there. See, that's a ductwork, and the same on this side's a ductwork. But all they did was put a little bit of Luan on there, and I think they just put a couple of little staples in there. So we're going to end up redecking this whole thing anyways. And we're going to check all that out and strengthen all of that. And then I also want to check the trunk lines, run all these lines up underneath. So in the meantime, these are the ferrules that I was concerned about right here. And oftentimes, see how it's kind of digging into the insulation on the wire? Eventually, that could be a problem. And this is the fix. And these manufacturers are so cheap, they won't spend one more red cent. Literally. That's a shame for what you spend for these things, you know. And so you go down the road, now that thing could eventually break, and now that's a 120 line, so it'd short out, probably there's potential you could have some issues, a fire, whatever. Maybe I'm over exaggerating, but my point is that could fail. So we like to check all these out and get them there. I'd hate for someone to leave our area here, hit a good bump, and when they hit a good bump, that's the last straw. You know, I'd like to see if there's something underlying there. I mean, we already got this up. What do you do if that did happen? You have to tear the whole roof apart or something to get at it, or the wall, ceiling, something's got to come apart to get at it. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm checking all the way down here, and I want to make sure they're all set. I don't see anything in here. The other thing we're going to be looking for is, we know we had some damage up here. I want to make sure the insulation is dry. So here's another one right here, but this one does have a plastic insert on this one, so that's good. That one had that ferrule, that metal ferrule, so I just want to make sure everything is okay. And like I said, all this is going to come up anyways, and we'll check all that. We'll walk around the other side, and even when we pull the decking up, we may see something else up underneath it. This one has a plastic one, so that's a plus. So I'm just scooting down here, checking everything. Another one, plastic. So it may just have been that 120 line, which is weird. Why wouldn't they run the 120 through the plastic? Isn't that crazy? You know, they could still put the plastic insert in that ferrule. That one's plastic. You know. So this is the way it's built, if you're ever curious to know. You got these screwed down here. And this is basically a band, and it leashes all the trusses together, and then they just staple them with a 2-inch staple. That's it. They're really not glued or anything. This one has a thermal barrier underneath it, which is probably, I mean, it's really not going to do anything because you need to have a cavity underneath it. You can see the aluminum underneath there, but what we'll do is we'll slice it and tuck it back down. That's what we've done before, and then that'll give that cavity, right? But I mean, it'll probably do something, but it's not going to be like, wow, I could really feel the efficiency of that foil. That's not going to happen. So, another one there. Another one here. So we're good. So it seemed like it was just that one, but like I said, we're going to do that. We're going to fix this one because that's just not strengthened up. A lot of strength missing out of it. See the ductwork over there, and all I have is just, like I said, that's just Luan. So we're going to add some strength to it. This one here is just a vent, but we're going to take a look at all of these, but it doesn't seem nearly as bad as this one. So we're going to check it all out when we jerk all this up, and then, like I said, put all the antennas back and all that stuff. Well, you can clearly see we have got the decking off. So we got the owner, he says, tear it out. This is where the ladder was mounted. And you can see all they do is just staple that in there. So we're going to fix that as well. All of them are just stapled. This one isn't even there. So the decking went over, and that was to give it some bite when you go to put the screws in. So the other thing we did is, because we're going to glue down to the trusses here, so in order to glue to that, I have to recess this. This is just a radiant barrier sheathing, and it really doesn't work unless there's a cavity up underneath the decking anyways. So you're supposed to have a 3/4 inch gap between the foil and the cavity in between the foil and the whatever's underneath the foil. Right? All right. So that's where we're at now. We're just cleaning it up. We're going to add some strength over here onto this. This is the one that was failing for the air conditioner, and the same one up there. So, all right, I need more coffee. That is for sure. I'll go find some coffee and I'll give you an update. The other thing we did is we ran the wires that were sitting on the roof. We ran them over there. That's a cellular. And then there's another one over here for Wi-Fi. So we got all those run underneath the roof deck. So, all right, onward and upward. So what we got here, this truss, remember that sag in there? We pulled it out. And we put some structural steel in there and wrapped the whole entire box. It's all glued and screwed. So it's going to stay in there for a long time. Then we're going to be putting on, this had 3/8 decking, we're going to be putting 1/2 inch on here. So we also ran the wires up underneath. That's going for the cellular. There's wires ran up where the antenna was going up there. That's what they're doing up there now, is they're doing the same thing up there. So you can see how we protected the wire right there with one of them redhead bushings, and make sure the steel doesn't compromise any of the wires coming through. So that's the way you do things. Take your time, do them right. All right, we're getting some decking down here. Hoo-ha! It's looking good. So what we do is we got foam adhesive that we use, and we load it all up. So not only is it keeping it tight down this way, it's keeping it tight this way. That's our thinking here. So we're getting there. We're gonna load up some more. And we're shooting it all down with these staples. If you want to staple this down, you start putting screws in this. It's so skinny you'd split this wood. So that's what we're doing here. You're just gonna see all the glue. We got a couple more sheets to go. Roof time! Look at that. You don't even spare it. You just use it up. Look at there. There she go. So that's what we're doing, trying to load it right in here. So when we bump that other sheet to it, it burps up. Back over here. That's what we got it all redecked. One of the things we did that I didn't mention was we checked all the trunk lines. We got all those, checked over, just to make sure they weren't coming apart. Then we got these glued down. And then we restable them. They're all getting glued back down. And then we restable them. And what we're doing up here, got a sander. We're just trying to sand some of the high spots that may have happened just from the inconsistency of the plywood. And then we do some filler in here to make sure it's all sitting nice. We'll get our buffer strips going. And that's about it. So we're moving along pretty good. So we got the glue in there. You put the glue. And then you do the staple. Bada bing, bada boom. He's practicing to be a judge. Watch fingers, watch fingers. We're going to sew her up. Now I know that thing isn't going to come loose. Plus we're going to have a protective strip that'll be glued on the whole thing too. Okay, now we got the passenger side. We've already got it glued and set, but you can see we've got our protective strips on top of here. This has been glued, that's been stapled, so this isn't going to move anymore. We're not going to have any staple issues. Got our protective strips going across on every sheet. So now what we're doing is just getting some glue on here on everything on the whole sheet, and once it's ready, we'll roll it out, and then we go with all the curves and all that jazz and start putting her back together. So, ta-da! Alright, so what we did is roll it over, and we went over it back and forth with the big rollover. And now what we're doing is over there, we're trying to get the plumbing. We're going to cut out our holes, get our curves up here, and start putting it back together. We are done. There's our brand, RVRoof.pro. Not .com, .pro. We're jazzy. Here's the date, March 20. So that'll give us an idea of what's going on with this roof when it comes in for inspections, if anything. Then this was a cellular antenna that was just sitting there on the roof with the wires running along, if you remember from the first part of the videos. So we made that nice little boot and bent the bracket around, so now that's nice and tight, and that's permanent. Did the same with the ladders. You're not going to get any leaks over there. You got new insert trim all down there. Everything is all heat welded in there. Got our bases in the back. You can see there's another one on the other side. We've got our counter flash in the front right there. So everything is all set. This customer is eager to come in to get this. We even did the same with his Wi-Fi right here. Made that cool boot right there. It's a nice oval one. But it looks nice and clean that way, and we put it more to the center. Just keep away from some tree branches. But everything is all heat welded together. The maintenance on this, wash it twice a year. You can wash it with any mild detergent, soap. Got 2 strikes of caulking down here. Got the same detail on the front. Got our stands in the back. That just gives it some balance. That's all it does. You can also see underneath how we've got the protective strips, but you already saw all that while we were gluing it all together. I'll give you just an overview here. This is a 20-year commercial roof system. It's the same roof that you're going to find on a restaurant, on office building, a library. Same exact roof system. It's a 60 mil. This is Carlisle's brand. It's a 60 mil TPO. It's structured. So we don't sell any of these. We don't sell any components. We don't sell anything at all. We don't sell anything at all. Even this insert trim that we have, I had a special order of this, but we don't sell it. We don't sell anything. These are not DIY videos. There's a lot of stuff that's behind the scenes that we do to pull a coach together that I couldn't possibly fill in here. I mean, I'd have to get a camera crew or something. Maybe I should start a reality show. But they're not DIY videos. They're not intended for that, because there's other things in here that we may have to do or adjust. So for instance, you saw the work we did on the air conditioner. See how we pulled that back, and that air conditioner was sagging pretty bad. So we framed that one out. We framed the other one out up front there. So we got all that squared away. So now it's sitting right. We don't have to worry about that issue. We also put 1/2-inch decking down on there. So so on Sundays I come in, you may hear Frank Sinatra in the background. And I come in, and my worst things in life, I guess, are probably coffee and a good cigar. And during the week, you know, I'll come in even on Sundays and I listen to the Rat Pack every Sunday. Well, I want to give a shout out to Mr. Pulaski. He had a couple of questions that he had on YouTube, and I took some time to help him out with it. He sent me a nice little letter too, but he also sent me some nice cigars in here. I think they're real Cubans, he said. I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to here momentarily as soon as this camera goes off. I'll get a good cup of coffee, and he sent me some good cigars. So I want to say thank you, because he's probably watching the video. I want to say thank you for that. I tried to look back on the YouTube to see if I could note, you know, what his username was, to just say thanks. But thank you for that. I really, really appreciate it. I enjoy a good cigar and just relax and do my job. That's probably why I can work 7 days a week, I guess, because I don't look at it so much as work. These are all challenges to me. They're like constant puzzles, and I love to figure things out. So I just get a good cigar and figure it out. Well, we appreciate you watching, and you'll see us on the next one. Thank you.